Yeah, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. There is this disturbing topic I want us to dissect today about one trending event on social media. Yeah, it is about couples, about a man who brought a wife to the hospital for treatment. The woman was in labor, and according to the man, allegedly in quotes, that the hospital refused attending to them because they did not make a deposit of 500,000 naira.
Oh, okay.
And the story that we had due to that was not nice, that the pregnant woman who was in labor, did not make it. And you know what will happen?
Really?
Yeah, sure. Both the woman and the baby she's carrying, they are lost in the process. So,
Sorry about that to the man.
yeah, it's pitiable scenario.
Okay.
It's indeed pitiable.
Indeed.
In this kind of case, who should take the land chalk of the blame, or who should be blamed? The hospital for not starting up treatment on this pregnant woman who is in
Who
distress.
came in distress,
Yeah,
right?
sure. Came in distress as an emergency.
Okay.
Or the couples, both the husband who is in charge of the whole scenario,
Okay.
or
Okay.
even the pregnant woman, or both, or the government who should be blamed. What's your take?
Well, there are a lot of things to put in context when looking at things like this.
Okay.
It's not okay when we are too quick to point blaming fingers at people. One, who is the narrator of the story? From the narration, it could be the young man, the man whose
Yes.
wife was involved.
The man who is bereaved.
Nevertheless, so sorry about that to the man who lost his wife. But there's one thing about emotions. A lot of us try to play on emotions, forgetting the reality of what actually happened. You see, in Nigeria, our doctors are usually underrated and are being tortured because they took a Hippocratic oath, or would I say, because of, in quotes, ethics. So they expect them to come and be working for free and all or thereabout. Now, in this case, I'm going to start with the young man. At first, we have not heard from the hospital, so this is the man's narration, right? We have not heard a response from the doctor that was there in charge or the hospital itself.
There is this
Okay.
this story I also saw, again, a backup story on social media, that the hospital reacted, a doctor
really?
reacted that
Please.
something like that never happened. That yes, they identified that such a patient came to their facility, but they never asked them to pay 500,000 naira. It was an emergency case, and this woman was never booked in their facility. So what they did was, after their assessment, which didn't take up to 10 minutes, they found out that it's a severe case, actually, that the woman had convulsed about 2 times at home. All this allegedly, right? That the woman has convulsed twice at home before presentation, and probably anemic. She needed blood. So they referred to another facility. They referred her to another facility.
Oh, okay.
Now, yes, to get
Okay, you see
proper
why
care.
it's always good to hear from both sides. And the young man is now saying they asked to pay 500k. Who knows? Maybe he heard that information from side rumor. But nevertheless, we are not supposed to blame the hospital totally, because of course the hospital has a policy. If at all they had asked to pay this, and if the hospital was not charging like that, then how would they have maintained their facility? And to the young man, come on, pregnancy is 9 months, right? There are healthcare centers, there are lesser places where you could go register. That when emergencies like this, you go down there. Besides, if you know that this was the closest place to your wife, why didn't you register her before now? They would have presumed and seen earlier that so case does not have to get to maybe preterm, does not have to get to labor, would I say, have to be referred. And then them referring you, why find a corner to keep your wife? Why not go in immediately, just like the doctor has advised? So in this case, I'm not sure I would blame the hospital for that action.
Yeah. Well, it's so pitiable situation.
Yes, that's right.
Before I start dishing out blame from my own end, I must tell pregnant women, whenever you are pregnant, please try to register for antenatal in at least two facilities.
Very true.
Two facilities. One, a facility that is close to you.
Okay.
In case of any eventuality, you can dash into that facility because our emergency response are quite not so robust in this part of the country. Like where you will call 911, ambulance will come.
Very
You
true.
understand? So register, know the environment you are.
Mm-hmm.
Register for antenatal in a facility that is close to you. That's
Yes.
one. Also, register in a facility that is probably a tertiary facility or a facility
Where you
that
have
yes,
specialties.
yes, a facility that have access for surgery in case if it goes the
Goes
other way.
into the
Understand?
C-section. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Personally, they said you cannot blame the dead. So if not, I don't want to blame the dead nor the man for his carelessness, not sitting up to his responsibilities. But I want to throw the large chunk of blame to the government. Yes, there is this aspect of health that is neglected, that government has thrown to the wind. It was not like this when we were small. It was not like this when we were small. See, antenatal care is simply a preventive health care. It's a preventive health care. Understand? Given to a pregnant woman till delivery, right? Even it's pitiable that in this part of the country, this part of the world, we are still talking about antenatal care. While
That's very true.
in developed country, they catch it from preconception mode. There's what they call preconception care. Before you even have that thought of taking in, you have to visit the hospital. There are some tests that will be done, and also finance has to be considered. That's preconception.
For
Before
that.
and from preconception, you switch over to antenatal. You understand? But that preventive aspect of health in this part of the country is neglected. Okay, preventive this thing health comes under primary health. Yes, health, you have primary health, secondary health, tertiary health. In primary health, it's the primary health centers that are supposed to be saddled with those kind of responsibilities.
Definitely.
So there should be health centers in communities scattered everywhere. It's not something we should be looking out for. And government, as in their appropriation, they embezzled large chunk of money. They will tell you how much they have spent so far in primary health, but we are not getting that health education. People are not getting that access to healthcare. That's why today people are quite biased or feel health workers are frustrated kind of people. They don't have empathy anymore. But that empathy, the government don't have it. They don't provide room for it. Sorry, since I'm being quite emotional about this, but I feel yes, the government, they should be blamed. Had it mean there was a primary health center around that vicinity, it doesn't even mind if they share the same boundary with a general hospital or a teaching hospital, but there is a reason for this. It's not every case that should immediately end in a teaching hospital. You understand? There are some preventive healthcare, just like antenatal. You can register in antenatal in a health center. They will follow you up. If the pregnancy is at risk pregnancy that will require you to go to
you will be referred on time.
You will be referred on time.
On emergency.
Understand?
Okay,
You will be referred on time. Well, those things are not there.
Okay, well, that's actually a very huge observation. The government, yes, has a big role to play on this. But looking at our country, right, we are in a country where, I would say, in terms of care, you have very few percent care coming from the government to you. We should try to do better on our own selves. Like the lady, like we said, we are not supposed to blame the dead. The woman of blessed memory, of course, this is to other women out there, other pregnant women out there. Know your environment. You don't expect our husbands to know everything. When you're in labor, our husbands are more in labor than us. They are confused at that moment. What to do, you as a woman, discuss with other women. No hospitals around, know the cheapest place. Today, there are even successful midwives' homes that are giving out successful delivery. We're not encouraging that, no. We're encouraging you to register for antenatal on time to know when your pregnancy is at risk.
Come to think of it,
Okay.
should labor take women or take us unaware? Should it be something that should take us unaware? Like when it comes, we are not prepared though. Given the fact that you have 9 months notice, whole 9 months to prepare for it, should it be something that should take people on, sweep them off their feet? Like, I'm not prepared. Oh, no money for this, or no, I don't even know. Take me anywhere. Take me to anywhere without having any hospital in mind.
No, life happens. Okay, we don't know the circumstances surrounding these couples before the whole thing. But obviously, once you are 9 months, there should be no excuse. But once you are 8 months, there should be no excuse that you were not ready for labor, or you were not ready that the baby is going to come. I think there should be no excuse. So, whatever, I still look at the woman's side. As a woman, you should be cautious of your life. Don't always leave everything for the young man. A man is just thinking about what to feed, how to get money, and that's it.
Well, can I ask you one personal question?
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, you can choose to answer, you can choose not to answer anyways. If you were in the shoes of that medical doctor, or let's say you are the owner, you are the doctor and you are the owner of the facility in question.
Okay.
How would you have handled such case? What would you have done?
Well, there are two things involved. If I was the owner of that facility, I would refer. You see, there are some cases private facilities do not quickly take in their hands, especially when you don't have a history of a particular patient. That's because, for instance, I may be the owner of the hospital as a general practitioner. That case might need a gynecologist. Also, the pediatrician should be on standby, because when the baby comes out, the baby might be in distress. That's the benefit of going to a tertiary facility. For a private facility, I mean, as a general practitioner, it's not just to deliver your baby. Baby and mother should be fine. So I think I would have done the best to refer, coupled with the fact that the person in question do not have the money to even bring a pediatrician from a tertiary facility to my private facility. So what do I do?
Well, okay, yes.
I think I would have done
good person on that referral. Okay. Yes. Everything still revolves around funds, money, right? We private hospitals too can also as well do better in terms of having an accessible referral channel. Yes. What am I saying in essence? I feel having a referral channel in essence, know where you are referring your client to. Also, there should be need for mobility, like ambulance. If these people want to make use of that your facility, let's say they may not have access to boats or who will drive them to that place, they can be swiftly moved from your own facility to the referring point. Okay. Bearing in mind that it's not a free service, they should be able to afford that. Yes, right. We can do better in that aspect. Also, something that I feel government should do better too is awareness. They've not done well in that aspect of letting people know about health insurance scheme. In this part of the world, that's true, will pay out of pocket. Will pay out of pocket, and if you agree with me that people even barely eat 3 square meal a day. So when the chips are down,
the country is full.
They may not be able to pay out of pocket. But do you know what health insurance scheme does? Some people think that the people abroad, government takes care of their health problems. Okay, so no, that's not the case. What health insurance scheme does is that there is a commonwealth. Every month, people pay a particular premium, a particular sum of money into the government coffers.
Or if you're working, it's deducted from your salary.
Source. Yeah, sure, it's deducted from source. Okay. So this money is being saved as a commonwealth. So whenever one is sick, right, and you have your insurance scheme and you are up to date in terms of payment, money will be deducted from the commonwealth to take care of you. Now you don't have to pay out of pocket. By so doing, understand, you will take your health
That's true.
You will take your health seriously, because you wouldn't wait for you to be so down before you access medical health care, knowing quite well that these things are being deducted from your
From
salary.
your pay. That's true. That's true.
Understand? Assuming that woman was receiving free antenatal care, not free, assuming she has health insurance scheme, there is no way she will not take her antenatal seriously. Obviously, she wouldn't want her money to waste. She will be going for antenatal. And if she's going for antenatal, from what they allege that she convulsed twice at home, probably it may be a case of eclampsia. They may have detected that this woman had pre-eclampsia and all that, and emergency response will be instituted in time before it gets so bizarre or even leading to this worst case that happened.
Well, that's actually a nice thing to actually pin up to. I think every person should look into that. Every person in this country with a family, because one's health do not just break down with informing you that, oh, I'm going to break down. It just comes out of the blues. So I think everyone should be into this health insurance. I think that's what they call HMO, is it?
Yes, HMO.
Okay, HMO.
HMO, yes.
Yes, get into one or two HMO. I think every HMO should be registered with every government facility or every tertiary facility. It helps a lot. It saves lives. HMO, even though it doesn't cover all the expenses, but at least some to start treatment, to start administering treatment. It's okay. So yes. It's and from, if you ever look at this story, when they say she had convulsed twice at home, are you sure she was at home, or was she in a TBA? Because these days a lot of women who are not informed go to traditional birth attendants for delivery. So are you sure that was not, maybe when the traditional birth attendant have seen that this one is beyond me, carry her hospital, or even chemists these days, all these nurse Eliza chemists, they handle deliveries. A lot of things are happening these days. That's because the health sector is neglected by the government. Our health facility is lacking. That's why a lot of persons come out and say, "I do am now." Everybody is doing it.
And they climb pool.
So you see that everyone is doing it, and this thing should be looked at, because that lady, I'm sure if there is proper investigation, there is more to her labor before they came to that critical stage. And besides, labor does not just kill like that. You can't say she was enough for a space of how long. I think there are people who labor for 48 hours or 14 hours.
I'm becoming emotional right now. I feel our women are not supposed to die through labor.
Nobody should during childbirth. Nobody should die during childbirth.
Are we going backwards, or should be progressing? Please, I don't know. Our government, we need to do better. We need to go back to drawing board. We need to resurrect back our primary health system. We need to get our secondary health system working, and we need to equip our tertiary facilities.
We really need to.
And get them working.
Please.
We need to. If need be, there should be. In fact, state of emergency should be declared on health sector.
Please, very important. If there's something like that, it should be done.
Yes, there's something like that. They should declare state of emergency.
No woman is even supposed to feel labor pain in this present generation. Not even talk of dying during labor.
I think we've overflowed this issue.